Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this segment of Tried, Tested, Conquered. I have two beautiful ladies on this show today. One you're going to start seeing on a regular basis, and one, you know what? Today's introduction, you don't even understand how it is good for your life. First and foremost, I am your host, Sean Tamor, right here on the new OPNS 97.1. But if you look to what may be my right and your left, you'll see a lady. We know her about Miss Bella Biz, always about her business, is joining us here with the OPNS family. Bella.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing just great, beautiful. Right.
Listen, I am so excited to, add you to the OPNS family. Listen, listeners, viewers, this lady got something in store for you. I'm going to tell you now, she cute. She pretty, she all put together. But I'm going to tell you something about that energy. You can't get over on her. You can't go around her if she don't want you to get around her. But I tell you one thing, stay tuned to what she has to say. I've learned a lot from her in this short time that God has blessed us to meet and greet. So here we grow. Here we grow, ladies. Here we grow. Today's guest is Miss Keinosha K. I was blessed to meet Keinosha last year as we were touring the world with the Queen Priscilla movement. Hey, to all my Queen Priscilla babies. And I don't know, there was something about that movement in my life and in her life. And here we are a year later. Can you believe it's been almost a year? Keinosha K, welcome, baby. It's been almost a year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. You are welcome. And I think from our very first interaction, you were a bucket of tears.
I was, but that's the way God moves, though.
Yes, yes. So welcome to Tried, Tested, Conquered with myself and Miss Bella Biz. We're gonna just jump right into getting to know you. That I do know. I'll let the world know that I know, and then we're gonna give you the floor. How about that?
All right.
I do know that you are a former, I guess you could say, a former girl in blue. You are a former officer. You have a story, and your journey. I just do believe that what I do know about your story, and then you becoming a officer to enforce the law, and then you leaving that platform to enforce and fix and mend what you do right now. I just believe it was all divine purpose. Your safe haven. Tell us about it.
Your safe haven was birthed April the 20th of 2019 while I was still residing in South Carolina. And Your safe haven has had its first birthday this past April and God kicked me out of South Carolina. He had told me it took me 3 months to leave South Carolina when I got the call. Okay. And I was like, wait a minute. You know, I've been a girl working since I was 15 and a girl who was, getting paper, as the kids say, in the streets of Georgia all my life, So before I started working actually in a job where the Internal Revenue would take in taxes, I was already working and making bread. Okay. So when God told me, I was like, nah, where I'm going to work, where I'm going to live. It took me 3 months before I actually left South Carolina. And when I got the call the second time, God said, take nothing with you. Throw everything away. So I took nothing with me but a few clothes. And every piece of clothing that I went through, he was like, throw that away. Keep this. All of my therapy stuff that I did with children inside of the school district or a psych hospital, I gave it all away, from business printers to personal printers. The only thing I took was my 27 Nissan Altima that he gave to me because the rest of the cars were not mine. So I took that, 4 boxes, a few clothes on the hanger, and I was headed to Georgia. I've been in Georgia since July the 17th of 2019. I gave up my apartment in 48 hours, and I had just moved into the apartment and I gave it. I used to care about a contract. It was under my name. Now I got a people money and I'm making pennies, nickels, and dimes. So I saw. I was always the girl trying to hustle to get the money because I'm the teen parent with 3. So no matter what I had to do to get the bread, I was going to get the bread. So when Your Safe Haven was birthed, I was like, okay. He said, apply for the job. I was sitting by the window on the couch by my mama's table, and he said, apply for the job. Team Georgia jobs that week was flowing through my email like never before. But where they coming from and why? One click of a button. The next week, I got an invitation. The next week, I was in Georgia. He said, would you like the lieutenant position? I said, no. He said, why not? You overqualified. Why are you moving to Georgia? I said, I don't know, ask God, because even I don't know myself. And then every day that I wake up in this last year, God always shows me while I'm in Georgia. I'm in Georgia because Your Safe Haven was only birthed for Georgia. It wasn't birthed for South Carolina. This has to be Your Safe Haven's home so that I can help and serve that team that was like me. I specialize in sex and human trafficking because I was the girl human trafficked. Went into a family that wasn't mine and didn't even know that. So all my life, I knew this family. Now, don't get it twisted because my mama was there. My biological mother was there, but my father's not my father. But my father is the father who molested me for years and years and years. And I never understood it.
Stop right there.
Yes.
Right there. And Bella, I'm going to say something, and I just feel that you got something here. But the purpose of this platform, this tried, tested, conquered, is there's somebody watching us right now that in the last 5 minutes, everything that you've said, it's almost like they can't catch their breath. Because I like the way Bella said it before we came live, your story is our story. The details might not be the same, but there's somebody listening to the breakthrough of you. Now, I just heard you say, my safe haven, God told you that it had to be birthed here in Georgia. First of all, thank you for listening to what God said. Secondly, your passion for helping the rehabilitation of self-trafficking victims is because you were one. Bella, go ahead.
Keinosha, you got to break it down, as we say, unpack just a little bit. Because to what Queen just said, there's people listening with the inner ear. And we want you to kind of roll back a little bit and talk about that abuse as much as you can.
Okay. Where would you like to start? Because there's a story after story after story. So I was molested at the age of 7. Was it my first attacker? It was my first abuser. And then after I was rescued from that, it happened again a few weeks later. But it happened with the man that I knew as my biological father. It happened with the man that was supposed to love, nurture, protect, guide, and love me. So again, the innocence was taken away. And so when I talk about human trafficking and when I talk about sex trafficking, there are different definitions. And so when I talk about the molestation, going into a family, but I know human trafficking by family. That makes sense?
Makes perfect sense.
So it went from to human trafficking, and trafficking is first thing that.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on, Keinosha, because we're catching every other word.
You may know or that is, but
can you hear me?
Because you trust.
Keinosha, can you hear me? She got a bag. Okay. All right, baby. Let's try to see if we can reposition ourselves, because I do know that you are the voice for some voiceless people today. Yes. Let's see if you can reposition yourself so we can get a better feedback. Because yeah, they can't miss this. And as you do that, as you reposition yourself and try to find a
you can't
clear
hear me.
signal. No, it's going in and out. It's very choppy. As you reposition yourself, Bella, I'm gonna go here. I liked when she asked, "Where do you want me to start?" And all I could think was, "Well, the Lord will let you know what is needed in the atmosphere right now." And a lot of hurt that we carry as adults, a lot of people are so silent about the trauma that they grow up in the trauma and start passing that trauma on down to their seeds and the people that are around them. And I'm just listening to her to understand that this was her life. This was her reality. How many people that this is their reality? Keinosha K, let me know when you can hear me clearly, baby.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah. I can hear you. Okay, go ahead, sweetheart.
So born into a family that wasn't mine, but going back to my innocence being taken when I was 7. And then after I was rescued from that, still in that 7-year-old body, 7-year-old mind frame, I was still molested again by the man who was supposed to be my biological father. And so as I thought a trip from Houston back to Dallas, Texas I could bury it. I ain't never got to think about it again, because I'm with the people who love me. I'm with the people I love, with the people that I trust. But little did I know, before my 8th birthday, I would be molested again. And so it went from molestation to human trafficking, right? So being coerced into things that I know is bad, or maybe I didn't know was bad, but it still happened. And the innocence was not only taken away, but my trust was taken away.
Yeah.
Who was supposed to protect me didn't. And so human trafficking, again, I want to say this, human trafficking is a big deal. Being manipulated and coerced into doing things that are not right. That's what it is. Can put some gold on it. You can make it seem whatever you want to see, but after a certain time, it is human trafficking. Okay, so I wanna touch on that because it is so important, and trauma comes from that.
Yes,
that's where it starts. And so we bury all these things in the back of our head like they never happened, and sometimes even we forget that they're there. But when we get behind closed doors and nobody's house, the noises get loud in your head. Or when you walk by something or someone or even a smell, you can be thousands of miles away from that person. But if you see something or smell that smell, because it does come up, you can be triggered and re-triggered. Just because we run from that person or that thing, guess what? That thing and that person is still running because you versus you. Talk about you versus you.
Ooh, Keinosha, hold that thought. I'm trying to stay in my seat because I'm being educated and I want you to unpack that human trafficking, because I thought I knew a little bit about it. I don't know anything, because I heard you. If you could just go back, what is human trafficking? Because you said a couple of things.
Human trafficking involves coercing. That's the number one thing. That's the big thing right there. A lot of us think that, and human trafficking also is being forced to do something. But the number one thing about human trafficking, it could be summed up in coercing. It's coercing. It is use of force. And there's some type of labor or commercial sex behind it as well. Mm-hmm. And so remember when I talked about I started working for the government when I was 15, right? At least taxes being taken out. But guess what? I was working and hustling before then. So even when I was molested, right? All those years, I gained that mind frame of I'm going to get it by any means necessary. Ask me how I know is the hashtag that I use. And so when I became a teen parent at 16, and then at 17, and then at 18, I used what I was taught as an advantage. So not only that, human trafficking, then there's the trauma, right? Then a lot of people don't like to talk about this, and I'll be speaking on this month because it's Domestic Violence Month. Watch this. You got your human trafficking. You got your trauma that was induced by human trafficking. And guess what? Now you become a bully because now you're going to protect every part of your physical body, but you are going to also protect what we think we're protecting, that mental space, but we're protecting that mental space. We're suppressing it with alcohol and drugs and overworking and overeating and, just shopping and things like that. Trafficking is worldwide, but I want to be very clear to the people who are listening to me. Very clear. I know we was probably supposed to go somewhere else, but I am your voice because I remember when I didn't have a voice. I remember I was this big bad girl in this adult body, but I had the mind frame of a little girl. See, we don't talk about that. And so your visual of me is grown, right? Because I'm 41. But back then, before I started peeling back the layers and shedding the dead skin to heal, I still had the mind frame of that 7-year-old, and I had to go back and heal her. I still had the mind frame of that 16-year-old, and I had to go back and heal her, all while having 3 kids and full-time parent by the time I was 19.
Now,
so you got
let me ask you something, because I'm listening to the process, right? I'm listening to you being aware that you had to do the work. That's good. I'm looking at you and hearing you be very aware of what took place, what happened to you, what it birthed on the inside of you. I'm going to get as deep as you allow me to get here.
Deep.
I heard you say you became a teenage mother. So how is it that in your brokenness, you didn't break them?
Good question. I didn't break, and let's just keep it real and raw. I didn't break.
Look, this daytime radio now, you can't go too much so wrong.
I didn't break because I had the alcohol to suppress all of the noise, all of the physical people around me. My only goal was making sure that I took care of Princess, Kendra, and Keenan. Nothing else really mattered. I was just out there in the world being a robot, right? I was a robot because I was programmed. And that comes with human trafficking. So how I stay up, I can tell you that the alcohol did it for me. I was able to function at work because the coins mattered to the kids, right?
Right. Keep it 100.
However, sex the thing too. So if we're going to keep it real and raw, I needed to suppress a feeling and feel loved by someone else, and that someone else was the one who took my innocence. So I could use it to get what I wanted, right? Because that was what I was taught. It ain't prostitution. It's called human trafficking. It is coerced, okay? It is, I was forced to when I was listed, I was forced to continue to have sex, not by physical force, right? But the money came. I had the kids, and by any means necessary, they was gonna be well taken care of. Because when I asked for my tools to be tied when I was 16, I was told no. Okay. I knew I was sexy all the time because that's what I was used to. That was the mind frame. Money, sex, alcohol, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here I'm on the second one. Y'all still ain't gonna get my tools tied. All right. So when I had the third one, I was thinking about getting an abortion because I can't keep doing this. I'm tired. I'm dropped out of school. I want to go back for, my GED because that's what I got. Then I had to go to college, but I was tired. But I heard God at a gas station, Chevron, one day say, while I was 4 months pregnant, I done signed the adoption papers and everything. I heard God then. And let me be very clear. When you are broken, battered, confused, and cluttered and toxic, not only to yourself, but the people, I can get through you so that you can hear his voice. Because I heard God clearly say on pump 5, it's a boy. I'll never forget that Chevron in Oak Cliff. I'll never forget. I went back the next week and I told the lady I can't do it. Don't ask me no questions because I can't give you no explanation. All I know is I can't do it. Now I'm with number 3, so how I'm supposed to bear the bullet, as the elders say? What I'm going to do now? Because I'm still caught up. I'm still caught up in human trafficking, but with 3 kids now. And let me paint the picture clear for you with human trafficking. Now I'm on number 3. And because I'm on number 3, the coercing gets better, right? So the mind is more manipulated. Because now I'm going to give you more cars. I'm going to give you more money. I'm going to give you more clothes. And every time you want your hair done, I'm going to give it to you. All you got to do, come on, Keinosha, lay in the bed with me. Stuff like that used to trigger me. Doesn't now. Know that it's so important to center your thoughts and be in your emotions. But know that you have that behavior when it comes to human trafficking. So let me paint it real good. Human trafficking also cause you to have a sex addiction, right? It'll also cause you to have a sex addiction, especially when you have been molested and then now you through the ring. So it ain't molestation no more. You through the ring, right? And so I had to heal many stages of that. And it's so important that those of you who are in that house or houses, even if it's a family member, know that you can be in control. And it's hard to get out where you are right now because it has been many years. Okay. My hashtag again, ask me how I know. If you look me up on Facebook, you can use that hashtag because that's ask me how I know. It's real. I'm very transparent. And I know this because for 20 plus years, did you catch that? 20 plus. And I do mean the plus. That's all it was. That's all it was. So when I made the decision 10 years ago to move to the East Coast, I was running from myself and didn't even know it because the problem was still going to be there until I dealt with the problem and I cut the lifeline of the roots.
Well, what was it that made you want to change?
I got girls and I got a son.
Purpose.
And I was going to be the first one to make sure that they got a high school diploma. They didn't have no babies. They would go on to college. and they will pledge. There will be a legacy behind it. There will be passion behind the purpose, and I was speaking it before it actually happened. And so my number one goal was to get to a place where we were safe and that I could raise them and that they won't become another statistic in society. That was the big thing. We often talk about sex and human trafficking for girls, but boys are too. And I know a few. I know a few of my teenagers. And it's hard. So, Your Safe Haven is dedicated to providing services to assist individuals who are affected by human trafficking, teen parenting, homelessness, and other social economic struggles with assessing resources and services in order for them to maintain and live a healthy, sustaining life. We want to take them off the street. But sometimes with human trafficking, it's hard to come off the street. We want to come, but our number one thing is where the money coming from. But if I leave, will he or she beat me? Or will they take everything that they gave me away? Then what I'm going to be left without? My family don't even like me. Now you have all of these self-defeating thoughts, So, yeah.
So with understanding, because we have quite a few people that are tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in to this segment of Try, Tested, Conquered here on OPNS 97.1. Keinosha, Your Safe Haven. We have someone listening right now that is sitting and waiting with pen and paper. How do they contact you? How do they contact Your Safe Haven?
They can contact us via phone, which is 706-756-5198.
Say that again for me.
Area code 706-756-5198.
Okay. And is there a website?
Yes, the website for Your Safe Haven is www.yoursavehaveninc.org.
INC.org.
Yes.
And I wanted to go ahead and get that out because I see the comments here. And it takes I think it takes us being bold in the spirit to be able to speak our truth. And a lot of people don't realize when we're speaking our truth, everything that we went through, everything that God carried us through, it wasn't even really for us. Yeah, we felt the pain. Yeah, we had to overcome the hurdles. Yeah, we had to make the choice to not die there.
Right.
But everything, as I listen to you, and I think about my own story, other people's story that I know, one of the things that seems to be the thing that is swept up under the rug or that is made norm is if you are violated as a young girl, if it was done by Uncle so and so and so, if it was done by Auntie so and so and so. I remember hearing, you just gonna have to get over it. But what if you can't? What if you're not in an environment that provides you with the tools to be able to just get over it? Listening to you, I hear the birthing of the dark areas in one's life when they were told to just get over it. But now they find themselves currently in their adult life, anger, bitterness, the addiction to sex, like you said, and we just write it off as whoredom. It's like that root, those things that are planted. So what would you tell someone who they were told, honey, just get over it. You ain't the only one. It didn't just happen to you. Look at me. I'm fine. And don't even understand. No, honey, you're not fine.
But no, you're not fine. You are not fine. We say those words because those words because that's where we were taught. Like if I said, "Hey Shanta, how you doing today?" You'd be like, "I'm okay. I'm good. I'm great, girl. I'm great." No, you're not. No, you're not. Just tell me you okay today. You know, you all right. And if you just want to say you all right, you ain't really got to go into details. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you just got to be all right. You ain't always great. You know what I'm saying? And even though I'm healed from many things, and I tell people, healing is every day for me. Please don't get it twisted. I'll be healing and you'll be healing the day that you go to your grave, but you will always have phenomenal and beautiful and gorgeous moments. You know, I woke up yesterday because I hit some goals. I went over there to the mirror and kissed myself in the mirror, honey, because I deserve that. You know what I'm saying? Because there were times where I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. Who is her? Oh, she ugly. You know what I'm saying, baby? But today, what?
Hey, Keinosha.
Right.
Hey, Keinosha. I have to interject for a minute. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
I'm going to unpack something, Keinosha, because you got to keep pushing. Yeah. I lost internet connection, family, but you know what? You just keep on moving and get back in. But you said something very powerful. I was just in discussion the other day about I'm okay, you're okay. That's what I term it. And we got to stop as women of color saying, I'm okay, you're okay.
Come on.
The sky is blue and the grass is green. You know what? That's finite, but we're not okay all the time. And what I want to interject to you, I love your spirit because guess what? It's okay to say, I'm not okay. I'm not okay today. But you know what? I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm not going to be negative, but I'm going to acknowledge I'm not okay and keep it moving. I just had to say that because I was like jumping out of my seat when I heard you say that.
Well, a lot of people feel like that's a display of weakness.
Yeah. And it's actually courage and braveness.
Come on,
I also use the hashtag, I'm braver than I ever been because I am. You know what I'm saying? I got a piece where I talk about darkness to light. And then I have a blog where I wrote taking off the mask in trauma month. I wore many masks. I'm talking to you too. Lord knows, man, woman, I'm talking to you. We wear many masks daily. And it depends on where we gotta show up, is what mask that we put on. And I talk to myself all the time. Yes. Because something happened yesterday and I said, oh no, you don't wear that mask no more. Enemy, no. You don't wear that mask no more. Who are you? Who are you? Keinosha K. You don't wear that mask no more. Do you need to go back and read your book? Because sometimes I have to go back and read my own book and I carry it with me daily because I never want to wear those masks because I know that it was uncomfortable and it was so exhausting coming home and hear all the masks come off. And now not only am I exhausted, I can't do nothing else but pick up the cane.
Carry yourself. Come on, man.
You know, so with that darkness to light, I was in a dark place for 20 plus years. Let me let you do the math. 34. So let's keep it real. For 34 years. 34. Can you imagine in the last 10 years of how much unpacking that I have done? At one time, I had 2 therapists. They was killing me back to back every week. But if I'm going to pay you, I'm going to get what I deserve because I want to be healed and I want to walk outside and look up at the sky because guess what? For 34 years, I didn't know what the sky looked like. Listen, I knew that it was blue and the clouds was white, but I didn't know what the sky looked like. And if you go to my page and you look at my pictures, guess what? I look up at the sky because I remember when I couldn't. You know what I'm saying? But we have to get to that and be okay with who we are because it's not your fault. But guess what? It is your responsibility to take care of and go where you want to go. You can't get that house till you get healed. And if you get it, God didn't give it to you.
Come on.
I know that. He didn't. Because out of all the cars I done had, and I ain't paid for one, listen, that 2017 Nissan sit outside, he gave me that. He gave me that. Human trafficking, there's always an at there's always a mean, and there's always a purpose. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about that soon. I know we can't talk about it today, but there's an act, there's a mean, and there's a purpose. One act is recruitment. The other act is treat or use of force. The other one, exploitation, including prostitution of others, sex exploitation. So I'm going to be talking about that, and I'm going to go live. But I want men of God, women of God, we are all God's children. Whether you talk to whoever you want to say, another guy, we serve the same God. But I want you to sit with yourself. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to sit with yourself, because for 34 years, I couldn't sit with myself. I had to sit with the can, baby.
That's
now
good.
I sit with a bottle of water, honey. And I'll be like, what we doing today? We coloring, you know? And then God came and he birthed something else. Becoming beautifully healed with the Keinosha K experience. Specializing in trauma, sex, and human trafficking. I start with the inner child because I was her. But I want you to know it is hard to sit with yourself without the distraction. If you got a distraction, you great, right? You be like, I'm great, girl. No, you're not. And listen, trauma just doesn't come from molestation and rape. It comes from being your emotions, physical and emotional. It comes from neglect and abandonment. I got a new book coming out, from rejection, the pain of rejection and pain. Listen, we've all been rejected. We've all felt some kind of pain. If you didn't feel no pain, you wouldn't be on God's earth. I want you to sit with yourself. And if you can't sit with yourself, please reach out to me in the inbox. I answer to everybody, because when I thought that I wasn't supposed to do this, and when I thought that it was hard to do, I get up every day in Georgia and I don't have one regret, not one. It is hard to sit with yourself. It is hard to pretend to be somebody that you are not. Ask me how I know. I talk about imposter syndrome. It's real. And we as African American, I like, black. We as black women and black men have been conditioned and programmed. It's the modern day slavery thing. You were conditioned to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. It's the same thing as you having sex with your uncle. Conditioning. Oh, wow. It's real. When I wrote The Secret She Kept, The Unrevealed Truth, when God gave it to me, he just gave me the secret she kept. I was like, I ain't gonna tell nobody about my story. I'm healing. It feels good. Why telling people what? Them people don't even know me. Let me just get healed, look good, keep walking, because I ain't always felt good. So I always look good on the outside, but my internal, I was walking internally dead. I was a robot. I was physically awake, but internally I was dead. And so when I wrote The Secret She Kept, I was like, okay. So then he said, go get some chains. I'm not wrapping my body up in nobody. What? I had to wrap myself up because that's how heavy the weight was. And we walk around and we carry all of this internal pain. And you know why? Because the person who violated us, not just from molestation, let's be clear. The person who violated us and the person who betrayed us, the person who was supposed to love and nurture and take care of us, but they violated us, right? Why am I going to trust somebody else that I don't even know? Why am I going to trust her? Why am I going to trust him? My own family disowned me and betrayed me. And when we say disown, and let me say this real quick, be very clear. When we use disown, we often think that that's deserted, right? But it's just being abandoned and neglected. But we still have a family. I'll say this. My mama wasn't the best mama, but she mine. You hear me? She is mine. And I am of her. But watch this. She couldn't be there emotionally for me because of all the internal pain that she felt. And guess what? A year ago, when I was back in school, I was taking some classes or whatever. She spoke and told me just about everything I needed to know that happened. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the healing and to be able to hear and to actually have sight. You know what I'm saying? Because when you've been affected by trauma,
yes,
you don't care.
yes,
You don't care.
yes,
Your memory is tainted. What?
yes.
You don't taste the same. You waking up in the middle of a night scrolling social media. You wondering why you can't sleep. Whatever. For 34 years, I slept 3 to 4 hours every night. Maybe I go to bed at 9 o'clock faithfully and don't wake up unless I'm going to use the restroom. But I can go back to sleep now. Woman and man, whomever you are that are watching, if you're sharing this live, know that you are not alone. Know that it's okay to not be okay. Know that it's okay that you can cater to yourself and tell the world no, because you've always suited and booted up for the world. But who is suited and booted up for you? Not even yourself. You have left yourself behind. You know, a lot of us think that self-care is going to get our nails and toes done. Honey, on Saturday, I laid in the bed. I washed these white linen and got right back in the bed because it was soft and it smelled good to me. That's self-care to me because I used to not be able to do that. I could lay down and not be distracted. It's hard, man or woman, to lose the distractions. You want to be distracted because you don't want to feel. And I know what that feels like. You don't want to feel that pain. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's pain. We don't realize that it's pain. So I want you to know that you are not alone and that you too have a story. We all have stories.
Yes.
Yours may not be the same as mine, but you have a story. And whatever story that is, some man or some woman is waiting on you. You know, sometimes the children are waiting on us and we don't even know it. And so I often say, you know, I need to reach back and grab somebody's hand because I remember for 34 years, nobody reached back and grabbed mine. Everybody thought Keinosha K was fine. But in fact, I had already dug my own grave because I kept painting the narrative of what it was, instead of painting the narrative of getting healing and moving forward with my life. Today, I'm still the teen parent with 3, and I'm proud to say that. Before, I'd be like, everybody else, you know. But here's the thing. You can be healed. It all depends on you. Do you want to walk around continually to feel that feeling that you're feeling? Would you like to get up every morning and jump out of bed and be excited to jump out of bed? You know, I may not always feel like getting up, but I had a choice to lay there or I had a choice to get up. Before, it was suffering and depression. Another thing, we think that depression is sadness. Nah, it's anger too. And when you have been affected and inflicted by trauma,
yes,
you could have a conversation and snap and don't even know it and be like, I just talk like this. No, you don't.
I said something in reference to that, a live that we did not too long ago about things that needs to be plucked up from the root. You know, your why matters. That's what it was. There's a why you are the way you are. There's a why. You know, every time someone sees you, there's a unit on your face. There's a why. And listening to you and your story, it is very obvious what your why is. But here's the thing. You chose to take the power away from that why. And a lot of us, people say, well, I don't know how to do that because you didn't teach me how to do that. Well, I think that it all starts with understanding whose I am in order to meet who I am. You know, it's like, I got to know that God, you are the head, that you are the father, that you're it. And then I'll be able to tap into who I am and represent who I am, you know, to the best of my ability. And I can just imagine how awesome your kids are. A lot of people fail to realize is, one, when you have a mama, I call it mama bear. I'm a mama bear. When you have a mama bear that is determined by any means necessary to take and do the best she can for her children and not settle if all she has, that's good. If she feels that her best ain't good enough, she got the strength to at least go and find, what it is that she needs to be able to make them better than what she was. Yeah. I heard a lot of brokenness in you, Keinosha, as a child. Please, and feel free to interject anytime, Bella. I heard a lot of brokenness in you as a child. I heard a lot of, I can visualize, talk about breaking a plate and you got shattered pieces all over the floor. Baby, you had shattered pieces of you from state to state to state, and it wasn't so simple to just get a broom and sweep them all back together again. You have to go and take this part of my identity back, that part of my identity back. And I think if people understand that the thing that happened to you, it does not define you.
Absolutely not.
Someone dear to me said, us. Come on, let's keep it real. Us. Yeah. See this right here? Us. When you say counseling to us, right? I know what I used to hear was, so that means you crazy?
We run.
You need somebody to talk to you. You crazy? Girl, I don't need to talk to no counselor. I got this. But do you have this? Look at the anger that is going to and from your house. Do you have this? So I commend you. I applaud you. I salute you, ma'am, because the battle of your life started when you were a baby. And yet you were still able to sign to protect and serve. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How did this brokenness, this damage, move all of her pain out of the way to be the servant that God created us to be in the first place? So I salute you, and those that are on this live, I just do know that you've heard something that you can relate to. The one thing that stuck out to me, Keinosha, that you said, and we have a little bit less than 20 minutes left, ladies. One of the things that stuck out to me that you said was that your mom could not give you a certain thing because she didn't have it because of her own damage before you even existed. Yeah. And I think if we allow ourselves, and Bella, I would really love to hear your feedback on this. I think if we allow ourselves to understand that it ain't that mama hate, it ain't that daddy didn't want it. It's their brokenness that they never dealt with, and they don't have the capacity to deal with me. Bella, what do you think?
Hey, I'm mystified because Keinosha, I got to keep it real. This segment is about you, but as you talk, it's about me. And I would like you to just a little bit unpack and peel back on the area when you knew what you knew when you were going through it. I just had this conversation, keeping it real with my daughter this morning, right? I was saying, although you go through all those broken pieces, you know that thing that's in you, that spirit. People call it different, but you know what you know when you're going through, but you know somebody's got you. I call it the Holy Spirit.
Come on.
A little bit about
that.
Listen.
Say that again, Bella. We didn't hear you. We was amen. And say that again.
I want Keinosha to unpack a little bit with your story when you were talking about going through as a child up until today. And I was just talking to my daughter this morning about knowing the inner spirit, knowing that thing that people call differently, that you know what you know, that you know when something's going on, it just don't sit right with you. However, you hear that still quiet voice, right? Saying, come on, just one more minute.
Come on.
Breathe. Pause. I know you're in some mess, but just come on. Talk a little bit about that, Keinosha.
God is so good to us. He is so good to us. Like, he blows my mind, not just with the tangible things, but he blows my mind daily just to wake up and look up. But when we talk about unpacking, when I talk about me, when I talk about hearing his voice, God will handle you. He handles everybody different, right? And he handles us gentle, but he handles us differently, okay? According to our character and who we are and who he knows he's produced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And although I was that 18-year-old young girl pregnant, sitting at Chevron, throwing up, I heard him. But even then, I was so caught up in what my life has always been. I always went to church, but nobody really teaches you about the word until you're ready to dig in the word. Oftentimes, churches, they say the same old scripture and the same old sermon. But for me, it was a little deeper. I was running for something and I didn't know what I was running to, but I will always hear God. And I talk about birthing things from my belly. And I can always feel what I'm birthing from my belly, and it's always scary. But the way God handles me, especially in 2019, he would tell me to shut up. Not be quiet or hush. But that is a part of my character, and that's the way he needed to handle me.
Right.
But when we talk about unpacking and getting into scripture and the word, for me, it was always when I couldn't hear his voice, or when I was so depressed with anger. This the honest truth. I would pick up the can and I would turn on some gospel music.
Yes.
That's my truth. And it reminds me of me used to question my mama, why you drinking listening to God's song? But here's the thing. Sometimes you have to go through that to get to the next level or the next step, whatever that level and step is for you. For me, it was I had to go through all of them rough stages so that I can get where I'm at. And healing wasn't easy for me. There was a lot of tears and a lot of anger. And, somebody asked me, and I talk about it in my book, was I mad at God? I was never mad at him. And I find it now to be so strange, when people ask me that. But for me, it wasn't strange. It was something that happened, wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. I don't know why it happened, but it did. But I wasn't mad at God. Sometimes I used to say, why? But I never got angry with him. I don't know why I didn't get angry with him, but I didn't. But to be able to hear his voice was so much for me. Even though I kept doing wrong, we can hear his voice and we can keep doing wrong. We know who he is. But even in our problems and despair, we say we trust him, but it's like going back on your word.
Yeah.
We trust you so far. That's what it is. So far.
You said something there that I just want to make sure that we caught.
Come on.
And then I thought about at the beginning of this segment, I did not hear you say anywhere in your childhood that you were always around positive or spirituality or love or embracing or loving you to your best place. You were?
I was around a pretend love.
Okay, but see, that's the point. That's the point that I'm making. You didn't. I didn't hear you say anything.
I was in church every day, but what? I was in church. I was in church as a little girl every Sunday. Choir rehearsal. Listen, the preacher had me too.
You're making my point. You're making my point.
The preacher. Wait a minute. Hold up, Shanta. Hold up. The preacher had me too. Listen. I'm not here. I don't pad nothing up under the rug. I don't put no sugar or no strawberries or peaches and cream or whatever y'all say on nothing, because it wasn't pretty when I was experiencing. So I'm not gonna paint the picture pretty right now. I went through hell. The preacher had me too. So when I say I was born into a family that wasn't mine, that's real. That's real. He wasn't my father, but he was the man who raised me. Hello? But watch this. So when I talk about human trafficking, it was in the church too. He was the preacher too. Not the man that was supposed to be my father was the preacher. The preacher. Did you not catch that a while ago? The preacher.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we caught it.
Going to the cow pen. And let me tell you something. You can get so caught up in that thing that has been destroying you, and you try to make it look good for you. That's what I did. Because listen, because I was angry and you was taking my innocence, I'm gonna get everything I want. I was gonna get everything I want, and I did get everything I want. That included money. So while you had the church's money up under the bed.
But see, so the point that I'm
just
making,
you know, we miss that our leaders are human too.
Yes.
We miss that what they suffered something from childhood, even if it wasn't molestation and rape, they suffered. We forget that our leaders in the church are human and breathing, and they stop breathing too, just like we do. There used to be a time where I would stop breathing in the midst of talking. That is trauma induced.
So if all of it was as tainted as we hear that it is, as we hear that it was, what I want the people that are in tuning in right now to understand is, through all of that darkness, and we're not saying that it wasn't dark, through all of the lies, and we know that there was a bunch of lies, through all of the cover up, through all of the trafficking, through all of the damage, even though in the church, mishandled by the church, baby, you found God that you are standing on today. And that's what I was trying to get to. In all of that brokenness, in all of that mangled, in all of that being mistreated, in all of that being mishandled, people use a convenient excuse of, I did not know how, I was not loved. That's why I'm as hateful as I am. That's why I'm as negative. But in the story that you just shared with us today, if nothing else, and I feel it real strong, somebody needs to hear that you can take and find God for yourself. Even though the pastor, that their assignment was to be their assignment was to be there for you and be positive, and they got it wrong. But just because they got it wrong,
but here's the thing
that I have to continue the wrong. That was the point that
you have to take in account for your own wrongdoing too, because we often self-inflicted pain.
Yes.
I had to take responsibility of including my wrongdoing as well. So although that all happened to me, at some point I played a part too. Doesn't mean all of it is my fault, but at some point I have to take responsibility, and I also have to go to God for that. I found him in the midst of my pain. Because we often go to God when we want something.
Yes.
When we're feeling bad and when we're down, the heart racing. But we always asking. But we never wake up and say, thank you for giving me a breath. I do. Because I know for 34 years, I died several times, every second. You know what I'm saying? And you have to take responsibility for your own wrongdoing. And here's the thing. You have to forgive yourself too, as well as the people who portrayed you. Because self-inflicted pain, you don't think that, you need to forgive yourself. But first, we always want to walk around and say, well, I apologize. But what are you apologizing for? Because when you apologize, that same thing don't continue to happen. This is not a cycle that continues to repeat.
Yeah.
You know, and so I tell myself that too. Forgive yourself, but why are you forgiving yourself? And what can you do better next time? What strategies can you put in place so that you won't put that mask on?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I've enjoyed this.
Oh my
I've
goodness.
enjoyed this.
Oh my
And,
goodness.
you know, as you were talking, I couldn't help but, I told you before the broadcast to go get some tissue. I should have got some myself because I felt the tears. I felt, it's almost like I can feel your story. And it's not sympathy. You are one strong woman. You are one determined
Thank you.
woman, and the time that I have known you, one of the things, I always say transparency is how we grow best.
Yes.
And you, Keinosha, had to be broken then in order to help heal and make people whole now. And if we take and realize that our journey leads us to our destiny, I'm not going to say that you're standing in line saying, hey, use me, abuse me today. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that understanding that on this journey, it led us to our destiny. And baby, it looks good on you. It looks good.
It feels good.
On
it feels
you.
good.
I don't know. I was pulled on to ask this question as we get ready to bring this to a close. This has been great. If there's anybody that have any specific questions, put them in the comment. We'll ask Keinosha for you, and we'll make sure that you get the response. A lot of times we take and shy away from the opportunity that God brings at hand because we're more concerned about what somebody is going to think or what somebody is going to say. But you got to understand that somebody that you're worrying through is not going through the day-to-day hell that you're putting yourself through. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. We are here. And if you have a question, come on in the room. Miss Bella, let us hear from you.
I just want to say, Keinosha, thank you for having the spirit.
You are welcome.
And the energy and the keep it 100 truth to bear all witness. Because I tell you, I don't know if it's one person or 100, but somebody on this line heard you today.
Yes.
It's beginning their breakthrough. I just have one question as we close out that I always like to ask, and it's this. Keinosha, if you were to leave your legacy behind, right? Based on your life and your trajectory, what would you want it to say or be? One nugget from your life that you want to leave behind for somebody else, what would it be?
It's okay to tell your truth. It's okay to tell your truth. It's okay to sit and stand in your truth. It's okay to be who you are. Everybody's not going to like you for who you are. A lot of people don't like me for my skin. A lot of people don't like that I've gained weight. A lot of people don't like that I wear locks. But I want you to look according to how you feel, how you want to look. You don't have to wear the mask. You can be anything that you want to be. All you have to do is have the mindset. Mindset is everything. Support is everything. And if I could tell you anything, I'll tell you this. Those of you who want to come in, because I feel this. Those of you who want to come in and you scared to come in because of what somebody may say, because I was hurt. Showing up on Facebook, jotting down, sending posts out, motivational posts, but I was hiding behind the screen. Now when I show up, just like I show up, I want you to show up too. But I just don't show up behind the screen. I show up in person. I show up in lives. I show up and walk in my truth every single day. And I don't have a regret about telling my story. But it just ain't about my story. I reach back and I grab the hands. Support is everything. That is the one thing that we lack in all communities. And let's not make this a race thing in all communities, because I have some of the best Caucasian friends. Best. But those of you who are getting ready to click and type, but then you erase, hit my inbox. Hit Shanta's inbox. Hit Miss Bella P's inbox. Put it in there, because listen, one Shanta, here's the thing. If you don't put or ask what you need, for every second that you don't take care of you, you have now cost you another year of death.
That's good.
Please, if you want to be private, I remember being private. I ain't want nobody to know my business, but I showed up like a light bulb and everybody thought I was okay. Please hit my inbox. I'm very transparent. There is no judgment, because we all go through things. Don't let somebody walk in these streets dressed up in some stilettos or some red high heels or business suit. Don't let that persona fool you. Everybody hurts. And everybody.
You got questions. You got questions coming in.
Give it to me.
How do you get past not trusting men and stop allowing the same thing in your life, even though you know God has better in store for you?
Please read that again.
How do you get past not trusting men and stop allowing the same thing in your life, even though you know God has better in store for you? That's good.
When you lose trust, you don't even trust yourself. We say that we do, but if we trusted ourselves whole, we would go through the healing process. And how I got to that was I had to release people. I had to release things. And if you want to know the thing I had to release the can, because the can was holding me hostage. You know, the Newports and the cigars wasn't nothing. The can that was holding me hostage. And so I had to release the can, because I was doing it 7 days a week. So when I released the can, it wasn't easy. Okay? Let's keep it real. Keep it real. Because when that problem occurred, I wanted to top the can off again. Right? But the people that I had to release were the people that was inflicting the pain on me too. Even those people that I was up under the same roof, I had to release them. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy, because that's all I knew. And sometimes when that's all you know, you'd rather keep being in that pain than to release.
Come on.
What you going through. So I had to release the family members. Listen. And I don't have no regrets. Let me tell you, I will release you from my social media if I feel like you tainted my mental space. Because there were times where I could have snapped, and it was only God who kept me, like literally, because I was an angry person. And all that anger stemmed from childhood. And so it started at childhood, and guess what? It festered over into my adult life. So now I had language. And now I'm looking for acceptance and attention. I am the attention. I give myself permission. You can't tell me no. And I used to say, who are you? But I know who you are, but you can't tell me no, because I tell myself yes to everything that I want and need. Now, there are things that I tell myself no to, because guess what? If I don't tell myself no to, I'm about to step in some hell, and I'm about to put back on the mask. So do I want to keep feeling good and walking straight, or do I want to continue to go back and walk crooked? Because when you walk crooked for so long, you get used to it. I used to be crippled. Release people and release those things that are holding you hostage. Again, it is hard to do, but when you incorporate self-discipline, start writing down you a schedule. Let's journal. I'll journal with you.
Yes.
Let's do it. My healing practice, becoming beautifully healed with the Keinosha K experience, that's a healing practice that God birthed through me. Listen, I got a whole curriculum and program for it. You are not by yourself. And stop thinking that. Stop having those negative thoughts taint your spirit. You know what God wants from you. God talks to all of us. He talks to all of us, even in our brokenness, even when we're toxic. Because there was a time when I was toxic and I still heard God. Hello?
Yes.
Because Holy Spirit, he don't change.
That's
We
right.
do, but he never changes. Like what? Whatever it is, I'm always here. This is,
This has been good.
I'm loud, I'm bold, and you can be loud and bold too. I want you to have a voice, because when we're muted, we don't know how to speak or when to speak. You know what I'm saying? We let everybody else speak and then say anything, even if we want something or need something or know that it's not right. We just shut up, That's just what we do because we feel like we're not deserving of this. I may feel like I'm not deserving. At one point, I may feel like I wasn't deserving of this light ring because I had to pay bills and I had to raise the kids. I'm going to get any and everything that I want that's for me. Because if I don't, then I'm going back on what God promised me. And his promises are not void.
Your inbox is gonna be full, baby. I'm speechless.
That's okay.
We're gonna be busy.
I'm seeing the comments, and the shirt that I'm wearing today speaks volume. You got to a point that
baby, your life show matters. Your life speaks. Your life.
You got to a point in your life where the loudness of the dysfunction, you turned it down. And you are standing on now the fact that your life matters, my life matters, my mental life matters, my spiritual life matters, my emotional life matters. So anybody that is on this live right now, we placed it in the comments. If you need a voice, if you need an ear, if you need a comfort space, Keinosha K is letting you know this is her life. She has turned her trauma into an opportunity for you to meet up with your breakthrough. Bella Biz, listen. I tell all the time, I say, listen, Linda, this was good. This was
listen,
good.
Sean, this was more than good because people that know me, it's hard for me to shut up. But I tell you, Miss K, I done met my match. Thank you.
Thank you. We salute you, baby.
You are very welcome.
We salute you. For those of you that are coming on late in the broadcast, I see you. Go back and watch the replay. There's something here for every last one of us. And we talked about from the perspective of you, Keinosha K, the woman. But one of the things that I love that you pointed out as we get ready to close here, you pointed out earlier that the victims are not just women. You have more men that have been victimized and just grow up victimizing their mates, and we don't even understand that it started in their childhood. It's called the circle of life, and if nothing else, we are here right now. Allow this moment of revelation, allow it to push you into your purpose, which is going to lead you to your destiny. That baggage does not have to go. That brokenness does not have to be. That anger does not have to be. That hatred that you've allowed. That's good. You carried hate in your life for 40 years for something that happened 35 years ago. Let it go so you can grow to your best place. And if nothing else, this young lady's testimony today, what I carry away from this moment is my this ain't that. Thank you so very much for being here. Thank you so very much for sharing and being transparent with us. Your Safe Haven is the name of her company. Your book is?
It's The Secret She Kept, The Unrevealed Truth.
The title of?
I will drop the link for you, Shanta, and I'll also drop the website for the healing practice. And that website is also www.Keinosha K, KeinoshaK.com.
One moment, I'm gonna type it in the comments. Give it to me again.
www.KeinoshaK.com.
Okay. All right. In the words of Shanta Moore, that's me. Here we grow.
That's Shanta. Yes,
if you didn't grow today, pinch yourself. We need to make sure that there's a pulse there. I'm gonna tell you, you get used to seeing Miss Bella Biz because Bella Biz has joined the family. She is now the new host of this awesome segment, Tried, Tested, Conquered. I am so excited to have you, to be able to call you and claim you as family. Here we grow, Bella. Here we grow. Keinosha K. I'm still calling you Keinosha K. Keinosha K. We'll see each other soon. Y'all don't hesitate to reach out to her. She is waiting to be whatever answer God has shaped and molded her to be for you in your life right now. Anybody got anything else? All hearts and minds are clear and happy. You know, that's what they used to say in church.
Amen.
You know, all hearts and minds are clear and happy. Go in love. Listen, aim high. I heard the incomparable Zenona Clayton say the other day, always aim to reach higher than your arms reach, because that means you're always elevated. Thank you, Keinosha K, because you elevated us today.
You are very welcome.
God bless you, ladies. Here we grow. Here we grow.
Have an amazing day.
You too, sweetheart. Love you.
Thank you. I am going to. Are you on Facebook?
Yes. Keinosha, can you hear me? It's a delay. Shanta, Keinosha.
Are we?
Keinosha, hold tight. Keinosha, do you still hear me? Hey, darling, do I need to close out, exit?
Yeah.
Shanta, hold on for a second, because you already exited, right? Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Hang on, I'm coming out. I'm getting ready. You got to hang on. I got to do a happy dance. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I'm closing out stream, y'all. Hang on. 1.